A blessed Saturday morning to all of the pet parents out there. So, welcome to another exciting episode of Maxime Talks, where we talk about relevant matters about your dogs because your dogs matter. I am Dr. Raniel Montero, your host for this morning. So, previously, we were able to discuss important things to know about canine ectoparasitosis, or specifically the ticks and the fleas, which are pestering our fur babies. So, to quickly sum it up, we learned that ticks and fleas live on small cracks and crevices on our walls, floors, and even furniture, be it a wooden or a concrete surface. So this can be transmitted through direct contact, of course, from a dog or a cat with parasitic infestation. But both of these external parasites can be controlled and treated. There are several treatments that we can employ. So we have spot on and spray topical treatments. We also have collar, which is being used by Doc Jomar himself to his dogs. And of course, for pet parents who does not want hassle control measures, we have chewable pills to feed our fur babies. So to all our avid viewers, we are encouraging everyone to participate in our Webby quiz. So how? All you need to do is to answer the question that I will be posting during our live webinar. So just put your answer in the comment section below with the hashtag do good for your doggos. So only those correct answers with the hashtag do good for your doggos and only those comments during live webinar will be chosen to participate in our electronic raffle. And I will only post one quiz question, but we will draw three winners of both 1.5 kilogram Maxime Elite and 500 peso discount voucher on your vet clinics or pet shop of choice. And of course, we always want a healthy and an interactive discussion on all our episodes. So to please encourage everyone to please share your questions on your comment section below during our live broadcast and get a chance to win a prize. So only those questions relevant to our topic or any other question related to pet welfare, pet care, and pet diseases that were commended during our live broadcast shall be considered for the raffle draw, and only one will be chosen as winner of 1.5 kilogram Maxim Elite and 500 peso discount voucher on your clinic or pet shop of choice. And also, we are very happy to announce our winners from our last episode. So shout out to Michelle Angela U. Osit, Queenie Nicole L. Mojica, and Joel Marie Catan. Each of you will receive 500 peso worth of discount, yes, from your choice of pet shop and clinic, and of course, a 1.5 kilograms of Maxim Elite. Okay, congrats again, guys. And all right, so for this episode of Maxim Talks, we are going to talk about what I consider as the most important contagious disease of dogs. So why? Because of its worst consequences to dogs and any human that will be infected by this. And of course, since the month of September is a dedicated month for us to be aware of this dreaded disease, let us all talk about rabies. So for today, we are with us again, our mainstay doggo expert, Dr. Jomar Castro of Consult Vet Animal Hospital. All right. Hi, Doc Jomar. A blessed morning to you.
Yes, good morning to everyone. Let me welcome everybody to another episode of Maxime Talks. And today we're going to discuss a very important problem in dogs and in humans. The title is rabies. Thank you, Doc.
Yes, that's right, Doc. This is very timely and we should all be aware about this disease. So, Doc, let's start by knowing what really is rabies.
Okay. I want everybody to know that rabies is a very dangerous problem in humans and in dogs. Okay, it's very highly contagious and it comes from a virus. Okay, it's caused by a lysovirus, and it it infects all mammals, including dogs and humans. So whenever it bites, uh, it dogs, cats, rats, and all mammals can be infected with this problem. Okay, it's a worldwide problem, and hundreds of and thousands of people are infected all over the world. Meaning, okay, this is why it's called zoonotic. Why? Because this problem is transferred from animals to humans. Okay? So this is very, very dangerous, and I want everybody to know na nakakatakot po ang problemang ito, ang rabies.
Yes, that's right, Doc. So let's give emphasis on the term zoonotic. So meaning this animal disease can be transferred to us humans. So after that, of course, we need to discuss then, Doc, how rabies can be spread from one infected mammal to another.
Okay. Shown in the diagram, in other countries, most of the problem where rabies get, when animals get infected and humans get infected, it usually comes from wild animals. Okay. Usually in the US and in other temperate countries, it comes from the bat, a bat. So bat na naman, ano, like COVID, it comes from a bat, but it transmits the virus through a scratch or a bite. So it transfers from, usually from a rodent in the US, or it bats. So they bite an animal. Here in the diagram, they bite a wolf, a raccoon. Then when the raccoon or the fox gets infected with the virus, they infect it to dogs. When dogs that are used in the wild for hunting, when they meet them and they get into a fight, this is transferred through a bite or saliva. This is why when a dog gets infected, this is the main transmission where people get it, okay, from dogs. So this is how it works, from bat, from fox to the dog, or from a rodent to a raccoon, then going to the dog, and the final host is humans. Okay, Doc?
Yes, that's right, Doc. Thank you, Doc. No, and yes, which dogs naman, Doc, can get infected by rabies easily?
Okay. Here in the Philippines, the most at risk, of course, are the dogs which are unvaccinated. This is the reason why it's always been a program already in all clinics all over the Philippines, in the cities and in the provinces. We advise, and the government has a very strong program towards vaccination of dogs, okay, against rabies. Because whenever an unvaccinated dog gets into contact with a wild animal, that's where they get infected. They're the most at risk. So if you have a dog, you have to get them vaccinated, because whenever they get exposed in the whenever you go hiking, when they expose themselves to wild animals, they get into a fight, and that's the primary cause of the infection, through the fight with a wild animal. Okay.
Alright, Doc. Thank you. So, syempre, hindi naman kompleto tong discussion natin if hindi natin share Doc, kung paano ba nai-infect ng rabies yung mga aso natin.
Yes.
How can my dog get infected by rabies, Doc?
Well, the number one transmission of the virus is through a bite. Okay. Don't ever think that it's only through a bite that you get it. You also get it from a scratch. Okay. So whenever you get you or even if you don't get bitten, or you don't get scratched, if you have a wound, an open wound, okay, that, and then you get exposed with an animal that it has rabies, you are at dire risk of catching the virus. The risk runs highest if your dog is exposed to wild animals. Okay. Now, here in the Philippines, most of the time you get it from dogs, but in from other countries they get it from bats and other wild and feral cats, because most of the cats are strays, and they get it from other dogs and from other cats and from bats. So this is the reason, the main reason why dogs get infected with the virus. Okay, Doc? Mhm.
Yes, thank you, Doc. So, let's just summarize that ng kaunti, no, na our dogs can get infected kapag nakagat ng isang infected din ng rabies na aso. And of
Yes.
course, if merong open wound or may scratches and then nadilaan ng isang infected rabid dog, yung aso ninyo, that's an entry point for that. Okay,
Yes.
so yes, Doc. So ayun, moving forward, Doc. Although then our next topic might seem very technical, so Doc, let us
Mm.
share to our viewers the science, no, behind the infection of the rabies, yung mode of action nung sakit na
Yes.
ito.
How does it travel? How
Yes.
does it act? How does it infect the animal? So usually, when a dog bites an animal, it would take like a few days to weeks. So the time frame from the exposure is very wide. So this is the reason why don't get be comfortable whenever you get scratched or you get raped, you get bitten by a dog. Huwag niyo pong pabayaan, okay? Because the mode of action happens usually in weeks and in years. But in dogs, I want everybody to know that the mode of action in dogs just takes only 2 weeks. That's the reason why whenever a dog is bitten or a dog bites a human, ang advice po sa inyo is to cage your dog and observe it for 2 weeks, di ba? Sa dogs po, 2 weeks lang makikita nyo na yung makikita nyo na yung effects. But in humans, it will take like weeks, months, or years. Usually that's how the virus travels in humans. In dogs, it's specifically 2 weeks. After that, if they get infected, they die. If not, they're free from the virus. That's the reason why 2 weeks ang interval. But as a precaution to everybody, I want everybody to be careful. Whenever a dog bites you, don't wait for the 2 weeks. Just visit a doctor. Get shots for us to be safe. Okay?
Yes, that's right, Doc. So, pag nakagat kayo ng aso, and especially if hindi familiar sa atin yung aso, huwag na natin antayin yung 2 weeks. Immediately, let's go to a bite center or consult our personal doctor for that matter. All right? So, Doc, after knowing what happens within the body of a dog, which has been bitten by a rabid dog, let's start showing or discussing, Doc, yung clinical signs ba? Yung mga observable signs that we can see to suspect a dog of having this disease. Kasi I believe there are several stages pa no, that we may observe or that we may have be aware of.
Okay. What are the general signs of rabies? There are three stages in the virus. Okay. Number one is the prodromal stage. Prodromal means it is the early onset without the clinical signs yet. Okay, that's the prodromal stage. Okay, uh, the changes is very varied. That's why there's no really stable and really concrete sign that you can see in your dog. Kasi once they bite, okay, and you wait, that's the prodromal stage. You don't really see any signs, or sometimes they just become aggressive. But before the major clinical signs, that's the prodromal stage. Okay, prodromal is a term that they use on the early and the first onset of rabies infection. Okay, the next stage is, which is the most common seen in rabies, is the furious rabies. This you've seen this in a lot of dogs. You've seen this in TV or in the internet. They become very aggressive. They bite with the mere touch. They become very angry all the time. They're very excitable when yung small touches lang on their skin, they become very excited, they become very angry, and they bite. This is the reason why a lot of kids get bitten by a rabid dog, because whenever they touch it, they bite. Okay? They display evidence of depraved appetite, and they will eat anything in sight. Usually they will bite and chew anything on sight. Most of the time, when you put them on a cage, they will bite the bars. This is the most a common experience that I've seen in a clinical setting dito po sa hospital. We've seen that. And on the later stage, after the aggressiveness behavior, after the biting, the chewing, and the exciting behavior, they become paralyzed. Okay, so they're just lying down and they won't move. After that, it follows death. The third stage is the dumb rabies. You would see that they're already paralyzed. Okay, but you should be careful with this stage because sometimes they still can bite. They just are paralyzed, but when you touch them, they immediately bite. So they can infect you immediately without knowing. Okay? You would see that yung face po nila is distorted. Okay? They have difficulty in swallowing. And most of the time here in this stage, you see the hydrophobia. They fear water. Okay? Sometimes you would notice if they have difficulty in swallowing, you would think na they ate something and you would touch their mouth. So you have to be careful. Don't touch their mouth because whenever you touch them, the second stage, diba, they can bite immediately because of the excited stage whenever they are sensitive through the touch. Ultimately, when they get paralyzed, they go into a comatose wherein you think they died, but they still breathe, but they're just lying down, recumbent, and still breathing, but eventually they die in a few hours. Okay, Doc?
All right, Doc. Thank you for sharing yung information about those two stages kasi very important yun. Lalo na yung kanina, no? May sign doon na parang may nakabara sa bibig ng
Yeah.
aso. But, it could be a prank by the dog. Kasi
Oh,
syempre,
yeah. Be
it's a
careful.
prank. Akala natin meron lang siyang nakabara, pero infected na pala ng rabies and nadamay ka pa. So, let's be extra careful with that. All right, Doc. So we are now down to the most important part of this webinar, diba, Doc? So it's the prevention part. Doc, can we impart ways on how to keep our dogs safe from rabies?
Like I always say, diba, prevention is always better than cure, and it's much cheaper to do it than curing something. And rabies is a life-threatening disease. There is really no medicine that can be given to stop the rabies, especially when you are infected. Once the rabies gets in your body and reaches the central nervous system, which is the spinal cord and the brain, there's no turning back, guys. So you have to be careful with this. Remember always to get your dog anti-rabies shots, okay? Anti-rabies vaccine. It's available in all clinics. You have to do this, okay? Because without it, you are at risk, okay? Next, avoid your dog getting into contact with stray dogs outside your house. So it's better to, right now, it's a quarantine and we don't go out most of the time unless important things. Put your dog inside your house. Okay, don't let them out because that's where they get the rabies from stray dogs without shots. Okay, yung mga pinabayaan pong aso sa kalye na wala pong bakuna, sila po ang nagpapasa ng sakit to our dogs because they get it also from other stray dogs, unvaccinated stray dogs, whenever they get into a fight. Your dog will always get into a fight when he meets or sees a strange dog outside. When that happens, your dog is at risk and you are at risk when that happens. So you have to decrease the chances of rabies transmission by walking your dog. When you want to go out, put your dog on a leash. Okay? Dapat may supervision when you do it outdoors. But I suggest since it's quarantine, okay, don't let them out unless it's really important. Put them on a leash and follow strict measures like we do now with COVID. You have to watch your dog. Okay? Don't let them out. That's very important. Okay, Doc.
Yes, that's right, Doc. Thank you, no. It is very important na ma-vaccinate natin yung mga alaga nating aso. Why? Because there is a law about that. So pag-uusapan natin yung later on. All right? And of course, paramount to all preventive care, proper and good nutrition will surely help your doggos prevent illness and other health issues. So like what experts always tell us, gut nutrition has an important role in preventing these diseases and in nutrients absorption. So, what a better way to strengthen the gut health of our doggos but to give them a diet with prebiotics? Because prebiotics helps increase the friendly bacteria in the gut of our dogs and later on boost the digestion and aids in the efficient nutrient absorption. So what are you waiting for, guys? For proper digestion, feed your doggos Maxime. Do good for your doggos always. All right. So after prevention, Doc, meron na ba tayong update or any update about the treatment for rabies?
Actually, I want to inform everybody there's no really no like any viral disease like COVID. There's still no treatment. Okay, we can only give supportive medicines to stop and control the spread of the virus. But when the virus reaches again the central nervous system, it that's what we're trying to control for it to reach the spinal cord and the brain. When that reaches the brain, there's so many side effects that happens, and when encephalitis sets in, your dog and you are in danger of losing your life. So you have to be very aware of what you should do to prevent this from happening. Besides the cost, the danger is so immense when you catch the rabies virus. There is really no treatment in the in when you become infected with the rabies virus. Okay, guys, remember that.
Yes, that is right. So to date, Doc, there has been no known treatment for rabies, but we have a vaccine. So let's utilize these preventive resources and let us all keep ourselves and our pets safe from rabies. So let's just pray that soon our scientists can finally develop a treatment for rabies. All right? And yun. And yes, sabi nga 'di ba, kung sa classroom may batas, well, certainly in our country, we have a law regarding anti-rabies vaccination. It is the Republic Act number 9482 or otherwise called Anti-Rabies Act of 2007. So this is an act providing for the control of rabies, prescribing penalties. So take note of that, penalties for the violation thereof and appropriating funds thereof. So to quickly run through the Anti-Rabies Act of 2007 on its section 5, so requires pet owners to have their dog regularly vaccinated against rabies. So once a year and it starts from the third month of age ng dogs and maintain a registration card which shall contain all vaccinations conducted on their dog. And on the next slide, on section 11, it imposes the following penalties. So take note of the penalties for the irresponsible pet owners. So pet owners who fail to or refuse to have their dog registered and immunized shall be punished by 2,000 pesos. And pet owners who refuse to have their dog put under observation after said dog has bitten an individual shall be meted a fine of 10,000 pesos. So guys, we just have to reiterate and to emphasize that as citizens of the Philippines, we need to comply with the law and vaccinate our dogs against the rabies virus. Right, Doc?
Yes, of course. Be careful with this. Remember these rules, and it has already been a Republic Act. So be careful because not following these rules will has penalties and imprisonment.
Yes, that's right. So I think it's time now no, for our Webic quiz. All right. So ready na ba kayo guys to answer this question? Na regarding din naman ito sa napag-usapan natin ngayon. And I just have to uh, ulitin natin na we will have three winners for this. Okay, so the winners will receive 500 pesos worth of Pet Shop Clinic discount voucher and 1.5 kilograms of Maxime Elite Dog Food. Okay, so ready na ba tayo sa question? Alright, so our Webic quiz question for today is, what is the Philippine law for rabies campaign and prevention? So, ulitin ko, what is the Philippine law for rabies campaign and prevention? So, okay guys, yung answer nyo, just put it on the comment section right now with the hashtag do good for your doggos. So, pag wala pong hashtag, we will not consider it as the correct answer. Okay? So, while waiting for the game to finish, for while waiting for the answers, let's just answer one question, Doc Jomar, no?
Yeah.
So, Doc,
Go.
eto, one question. Is it true daw po ba that puppy or yung tuta has higher concentration of rabies in their body?
Okay. Let me clear this up for you guys. Uh, Puppies are not born with rabies. Okay. They get infected either from a mommy who's infected from rabies, or they get infected from another stray dog biting them or scratching them or with the open wound. That's how they get infected. So there is no concentration level of rabies in various animals. When you get infected, you're infected. No, there is no chance for them to acquire rabies if they don't have contact or they don't acquire it from another infected animal. Okay, so it's not true that rabies is inborn in puppies and that they have higher concentration of rabies virus. That's not true. It is the same when you get infected, whether of any age,
Yes.
whether you're a puppy, you're a young adult, or a senior dog, they can catch rabies if they are not vaccinated. I hope I can clear that out to you. Remember, not all puppies are born with rabies. Thank you, Doc. Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Doc. Ano? First of all, yan is a myth. So, yun, naging myth
Mhm.
buster tayo this time, Doc Jomar. Pero
Yeah.
yun nga, 'di ba parati nang tinatanong 'to, may nakagat ng aso na puppy, sinasabi nila na may rabies. So, uulitin ko po, pagkapanganak ng aso, wala pong rabies 'yun. Magkakaroon lamang po ng rabies ang aso kapag nakagat ng isang aso na may rabies. Yeah. Tsaka lang po siya magkaka-rabies. Pero pag
Yes.
naipanganak yung tuta, wala pong rabies 'yun. Wala pong gano'n. Okay? So,
Okay.
yes. Another question, Doc. Ito, I think nasagot na to kanina eh. Pero I
Mm.
think kailangan lang natin ulitin. Baka kasi na-miss ni ma'am or sir. So, can paw scratches causes rabies?
Yes. When a scratch happens, kasi people just think that it's just a bite and a deep wound. When a scratch happens, okay, there will be an open wound already on the skin of an individual. So magkakasugat na rin po kayo pagka kayo po ay nakalmot and na-scratch. And hindi nyo po napapansin yun, nakala nyo walang open wound yun. Meron po. Now, pag na-expose po, once na meron kayong open wound and meron kayo na-expose kayo, nakahawa kayo, o nakipag-away yung aso nyo sa isang rabid dog, na-expose po yung scratch na yon sa saliva already. Okay? Now, when the saliva is exposed from a rabid dog, magpe-penetrate po yon dun sa scratch, which is already considered an open wound. Okay? So, with that, the virus penetrates the wound through the scratch and it penetrates the muscles, goes to the nerves, to the central nervous system, spinal cord, and brain. And that is the course of the infection of the virus. So don't be relaxed whenever you get a scratch, okay? Especially also when you get a bite, okay? It is also aggravated by getting tetanus, okay? It's a bacteria that happens pag deep penetrating. Kasi po, the teeth of the dog is long. When it penetrates the skin, it is also a deep penetrating wound. Now, tetanus happens during deep penetrating wounds. Ma-aggravate yon. And malalock in pa yung rabies inside the skin, which so double, it's called like a double whammy. That's the reason why whenever you get shots from with rabies virus with anti-rabies vaccines, you also get shots from tetanus. You get a tetanus toxoid together with the rabies vaccine. I hope I cleared that question with you, ma'am, and I hope you will be careful not just with the bite, you will also be careful with the scratch. Thank you for that question, Doc.
Yes, that's right, Doc. So kasi minsan ano, hindi natin alam if yung naka-scratch ba sa kanya is yung paw or yung ngipin ng aso. So of course,
Yes, that's
be
it.
careful
Also,
with that. Yes. Okay, so I think we have to no, it's time to reveal the answer for our webby quiz. So the answer is Republic Act 9842 or the Anti-Rabies Act of 2007. All right? So, congratulations to all who got it correctly and thanks guys for participating to our webby game. So, we will contact you kung sino man yung makukuha namin sa aming electronic raffle. We will send you a PM. Okay? So, wait for that na lang. And then, okay, so as pet parents, we all want our fur babies to be always healthy and active. And that is our top priority, right? So complete and balanced nutrition has always been our top choice to choosing a meal for our loving doggo. So there are no such thing as perfect dog food, but we can assure you of the right and appropriate nutritional content that Maxime Elite can offer to your dogs. So choose right, choose wise, always choose to do good for your doggos. And try Maxime Elite now. And we have good news for all the shopaholic pet parents out there. We are inviting everyone to join us in our grand launch sale on Shopee. So stack up on Maxim Elite and Maxim products and get to enjoy up to 45% discount. So guys, ano na, kailangan nating kailangan nating sulitin yung time na meron tayong 45% discount. Okay? So do good for your doggos by shopping Maxim products. And of course, to experience top-notch veterinary care for your dogs, schedule an appointment now and get in touch with our doggo expert, Doc Jomar Castro at Consulta Vet Animal Hospital. Right, Doc?
yes. See you in the clinic.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, to sum it up or to sum up our discussion for today about rabies, let us all watch this video about rabies. All right, so watch this, guys.
This year, 2018, the Philippines is celebrating on September 27 and 28 World Rabies Day with the theme Rabies, sharing the message, saving a life. With the help of GARC, or the Global Alliance for Rabies Control, this aims to help make aware the devastating effects of rabies and how to prevent it and eradicate it. Rabies is fatal. It's a viral disease that causes inflammation of the brain in humans and in all mammals. Ano po ba ang mga signs and symptoms of rabies in humans and in animals? Unang-una po, high fever, excess salivation, fear of water, hallucinations, coma, and followed by death. Ito po ay naipapasa sa pamamagitan ng kagat, scratch, or exposure ng saliva sa open wounds ng katawan. After the bite, the virus travels through the muscles and through the nerves, papunta po sa central nervous system or the spinal cord, hanggang siya po ay makarating sa brain, kung saan siya po ay nagkukos ng inflammation or encephalitis. Paano po ba malulunasan ang sakit na rabies? Meron pong tinatawag na post-exposure prophylaxis na kung saan binibigyan po ng immunoglobulin ang mga infected na tao upang hindi kumalat ang sakit at hindi makarating sa brain. Paano po ba ito maiiwasan? Sa tao po, meron din pong tinatawag na pre-exposure prophylaxis na kung saan sila ay bibigyan ng gamot para sa mga taong high risk patients kung saan katulad kong veterinaryo ay laging exposed sa mga aso at pusa. Sa mga hayop naman, maaari natin itong iwasan sa pamamagitan ng pagbabakuna. Sa tuta po, binibigyan po ng rabies vaccine at 3 months of age para po masugpo ang paglaganap ng rabies dito po sa ating bansa. Kinreate po ang Republic Act 9482 or the Anti-Rabies Act of 2007. Kasama na rin po dito ang pagbuo sa National Rabies Prevention and Control Program. Ito po si Doc Jomar para sa World Rabies Day na may temang Rabies. Share the message, save a life.
All right. Of course, first of all, no, credits to AgriTV for that video clip. And of course, thank you to
Video.
Omar for giving us that quick summary nung napag-usapan natin for today. So that video was taken 2018 from AgriTV. So courtesy to AgriTV. All right, Doc. So this episode wouldn't be complete without our online consultation portion. So medyo madami-dami to, Doc. Ready na ba tayo?
Okay. Great. Ready.
All right. So, Doc, first question natin. Okay, pwede po bang pagsabayin ang anti-rabies vaccination at deworming ng aso?
Yeah, it's always a question that is posed to me every time people wants to have their dogs vaccinated. Okay po, lilinawin ko pong mabuti sa inyo. Pwede po yun. Okay, kailangan lang pong ma-examine, ma-check ng veterinaryo ang inyong alaga, yung tuta po or adult dog. Ang gagawin po nila, i-checkin po sila ng thermometer, titingnan kung may fever. Kung may fever po, hindi po pa pwedeng bakunahan kasi magkakasakit po lalo. Stressful po ang bakuna sa hayop, lalo na pag may sakit. Kailangan healthy, normal, active ang aso bago po bakunahan. Now, pwede pong pagsabay-sabayin yung bakuna. Natatakot lang po ang mga tao dahil sa tingin nila, hindi kakayanin ng katawan. Kakayanin po. We always do that here in the hospital, in the clinic, here at Consultavet, and all other medical facilities. Pwede pong pagsabayin ng mga bakuna, kasama po ang deworming. Pwede po, as long as your dog or your pet is active, normal, energetic, without fever. Okay? Lilinawin ko po ulit. Hindi po totoo na hindi siya pwedeng pagsabay-sabayin dahil kaya po nila yon. We do it every day in the clinic. I hope I answered that question kasi ang dami-daming nagtatanong sa akin.
Yes,
Bakit daw kailangan pagsabayin? Bakit daw? Baka hindi kayanin, hindi po totoo yun. Basta po normal ang inyong alaga, kaya po yun. Thank you for that question, Doc.
Yes, tama yun, Doc. No? Pwedeng pagsabayin ang deworming at anti-rabies at iba pang vaccination. Pero may disclaimer si Dr. Omar kanina, kailangan healthy yung assessment ng doktor dun sa aso. Kasi pag syempre, kaya 'di ba napapansin natin, the doctors are usually checking the temperature of the dog and doing physical examination before i-deworm at before bakunahan. Because kailangan ma-assess if healthy or walang sakit yung aso before mag-proceed sa vaccination. All right? So we have to take note of that. Okay, Doc. So next question from Miss Mau Cruz. So ilang months daw po pwede ipag-vaccine ang mga pups and what vaccines ang needed?
Okay. Pagdating po sa rabies vaccine, it's always a rule of thumb that you have to get them vaccinated with rabies minimum at 3 months of age. Okay? Basta rabies vaccine po, 3 months of age. Okay? Pag less than that, hindi po tatalab yung bakuna ng rabies sa inyong tuta. Kaya po siya binibigyan ng at 3 months kasi nag-i-interfere po yung maternal antibodies na nakukuha niya sa nanay niya before 3 months. Okay, mawawalan po ng bisa. Kaya po nila nilagay ng 3 months. Okay? Pero kung ibang bakuna naman po, yung mga importante ding bakuna na kailangan ng mga aso nyo, katulad po ng 5-in-1, 6-in-1, 7-in-1, at 8-in-1, as early as 6 weeks, isa't kalahating buwan po, kailangan pabakunahan yung aso nyo ng 5-in-1. Okay? So dapat yung tandaan, magkahiwalay po yung 5-in-1 and yung rabies. Okay? Yung rabies po, tatalab siya at 3 months. Yung 5-in-1 po, kailangan 6 weeks o isa't kalahating buwan. Yung deworming naman po, you can do that as early as 1 month. Okay? Pero hindi po kasi vaccine yung deworm. Pinaiinom po yun. Okay? Para sa bulate. Yung vaccines lang po, ulitin ko, 8-in-1 ay 5-in-1 happens sa age na 6 weeks or isa't kalahating buwan and yung rabies vaccine at 3 months. Remember this. Thank you, Doc.
Yes, thank you, Miss Malcruz, for your question. So moving forward, from JM Labang naman, Doc, how many times do I have to vaccinate my dogs every year?
Okay.
I think for
Uh, okay, for rabies lang. Okay, anyway, for rabies alone, rabies only happens once a year. Okay, hindi po totoo na kailangan magbakuna ulit ng twice a year. For special cases, meron pong ganun. Depende po sa lugar kung saan high ang rabies incidence in your area. For example, meron pong isang province dito sa Pilipinas, alam ko po sa Mindanao, very high yung incidence nila na rabies sa community nila. So they vaccinate like twice a year. Pwede po yun, hyper-vaccination ang tawag dun to protect people. And if they want to eradicate rabies in their area, they do that in all the dogs in a certain area. Pero on a regular basis, it should be done once a year. Okay? Now, if it's a puppy, sabi ko nga kanina, mag-rabies vaccine lang kayo pag 3 months. Pero pagka 5-in-1 vaccines, it's a series of shots, usually 4 shots minimum nung 5-in-1, which starts at 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and 12 weeks. So 4 shots. Okay? That's the series of shots when you do 5-in-1. Pero in rabies, it is only given once a year at the earliest 3 months. Okay? Remember that. Don't forget. Thank you, Doc.
Yes. Thank you, Doc, and thank you to JM Labang. No? So next question natin is from the answer Kanyada. So ang tanong niya, Doc, is sudden aggression a main indicator that my dog has rabies?
That's a very good question, Mr. Kanyada. Aggression is just one of the signs of rabies, pero not all dogs have rabies. Depending on where you got your puppy, when you got your dog. When you get your dog from a suitable and reliable breeder, they give it shots before you get the dog, diba? Before you buy it or before you adopt it. Okay? When aggression is only a behavior, marami pong sakit din na merong aggression na pinapakita. Hindi lang po rabies. So you have to check muna, pag merong aso na aggressive lang, baka naman kasi whole his entire life nakakulong lang siya o kaya nakatali siya o talagang matapang siya, like there are certain breeds na talagang very aggressive na it doesn't mean meron na silang rabies. Okay? Meron kasing iba na talagang may behavior sila na gano'n na matapang na kagad. Okay? What you can do is have them vaccinated with rabies, regardless of whether they're aggressive or not, for you to be safe. Kasi hindi lahat po ng agresibo at matapang aso may rabies na. Di ba po? Isa lang po yun sa clinical signs. Pero ang tinitingnan po natin ay maiwasan natin na kayo ay ma-infect ng rabies through a scratch or a bite sa aggressive na aso. So, mas maganda kung yung aso mo ay kung aggressive na, mabakunahan mo na siya. Di ba? Para lang you're sure. Okay? Pero not all aggressive dogs have rabies. Thank you. Ang ganda ng question mo, Mr. Kanyada. Thank you for that, Doc.
For Mr. Kanyada, thank you for that question. And of course, kailangan nating i-emphasize na hindi lahat ng nagkakaroon ng sudden aggression is pwede nating i-indicate or indicative of a rabies infection sa dogs. Sabi nga ni Doc Jomar kanina, may mga behavioral changes yan. It's because of the natural stimulus sa environment ng aso or probably sa kanya meron siyang ibang disease na nararamdaman but not rabies. So marami pa rin pwedeng cause. So to know more, syempre you have to consult your veterinarian about that. Okay, so next question.
Yes.
Ito, Doc, ano na to diagnostic part and maganda yung tanong niya.
Okay.
Ma'am Erica Obieta, bakit po pag may rabies ang aso, pag namamatay, pinupugutan ng ulo?
Yan ang napakagandang tanong, Miss Gavieta. Thank you for that question. Ganito po kasi nung araw Actually, isa kasi sa mga ways and procedures for us veterinarians to diagnose if a dog is positive for rabies is ang ginagawa kasi may test sila na ginagawa. So they will examine the brain of the dog if there's a certain test na makikita nila sa brain if positive yung test. Alam kung positive siya sa rabies. So they have to get the brain. So when you get the brain as a sample, ginagawa lang po ito sa laboratorio. So para ma-diagnose nga talaga po through I think if immunofluorescence test, pagka kinuha nila yung specimen ng brain, makikita nila merong rabies virus dun sa brain. And you can only do that, syempre, by cutting off the head. But I always advise you do not do this at home. You don't do this at home. Nung araw kasi ganun po, nung maliit ako ganun nararamdaman ko pag nakakagat ng aso yung pugutan nyo na ng ulo yan, di ba? Mali po yun. Huwag niyong pupugutan ng ulo. Ang gumagawa po nun, yung laboratorio. Professionals ang gagawa nun. Mga veterinaryo at mga doktor ang gagawa po nun. Hindi po kayo. Pag ginawa po nila yon, gagawin nila yon sa laboratory setting. Sa loob po ng laboratorio. Kasi po, pag ginawa niyo po yon, ine-expose niyo po yung sarili niyo na rin sa rabies. Pag ginawa niyo po yun sa bahay, hindi po ginagawa sa bahay yun. Kasi minsan po, dahil sa galit nyo, halimbawa, kinagat yung anak nyo ng isang stray dog, ipahuhuli nyo yung stray dog nyo, sa galit nyo, papatayin nyo na yung aso, pupugutan na ng ulo, tapos saka dadalhin. Wag po yun. That's very, very dangerous. Bakit po? Ine-expose nyo rin po yung mga sarili ninyo sa rabies virus. Okay? Mamaya po niyan, meron kayong open wound sa katawan, sa kamay, may expose na kayo. So you don't do that. Only lab people will do that. Only vets will do that for us to identify kung positive po yung rabies na nakakagat sa inyo. Sana po naliwanagan kayo dito sa explanation ko na to kasi this is a perennial problem in communities all over the Philippines. Tandaan niyo po yon. Be careful. Don't do this. Thank you, Doc.
Yes, that's right, Doc. Konting story lang dito sa diagnostic ako. Kasi me personally, during my internship, nagkakandak kami ng testing doc for anti-rabies detection. So, ang kailangan yan, isasabit yung head or sa laboratory and we will process it. So, kailangan naka-PPE kami. So, kailangan naka-mask,
Yeah.
naka-gloves, naka-goggles. Bakit naka-goggles? Kasi kailangan protected yung eyes because any particles from the brain that can enter the mucous membrane can infect us of the rabies.
Parang COVID, no? Parang COVID.
That's right. So, ang kinukuha naming part ng brain is the Ammon's horn sa hippocampus
Okay.
ng brain. Technical, but it's the part of the brain that we need. And then, kailangan namin siyang ilatag uh, sa slide. And then, titingnan namin siya sa microscope. And we will look for nanigray bodies. Di ba, Doc? Yun yung
Yun.
hinahanap natin.
Galing ni Doc. Mhm.
Yes, pag nakita tayo na ni gray bodies on that on under microscope, yun, it's positive.
Yun.
Yes, that's right. And inform na natin yung owner or yung nag-submit ng ASTO na yun nga, positive for rabies. Yun. So, yun yung story ng diagnostic. Medyo nakakakaba siya on our part na nagagawa noon. Alright.
Nakakatakot. So guys, be careful.
Alright, Doc. So, next question naman natin. Move on na tayo. So, from Sir Alexander Luis Mendoza. Ito, medyo situation that we have dogs which are affectionate to us humans. So, sometimes they lick us and reaches our mouth. Will an infected dog transfer rabies to us that way? Can rabies
Okay.
transfer not specifically by a bite, like a dog sharing dog food with another dog that has rabies?
Yes, actually, there are cases when your dog is infected with rabies. But I want to clear this up with you, sir. Sir, thank you for that question. Whenever a dog licks your face, he's not infected with rabies because he likes you. Di ba? Hindi siya aggressive when nililick ka niya. Okay? Wala siyang virus nun. Kasi if ever he's infected, he will already bite you. Di ba? Aggressive na siya. That's the one of the clinical signs. Okay? Nangangagat na po kagad siya pagka may rabies siya kasi meron ng stage na furious stage na talagang ano. Pero pag nililik niya kayo, ibig sabihin he likes you. So that's no problem. Okay. When a dog, yes, meron na po yatang case that I've read through what I've read in the US. Ang alam ko po pagka nagsishare ng bowl, usually kasi pagka may rabies, pag onset na po kagad, tapos yung saliva niya na contaminate a bowl, tapos matatransfer po yun kasi natatransfer, the rabies virus is transferred through saliva, remember? An infected dog with an infected rabies, which has the saliva, okay, can be transferred to open wounds, okay, in an animal or in humans, okay? But you have to be certain, very, very small cases lang to, because whenever a dog is infected, hindi na po siya kakain eh. So, hindi naman siya kakain sa dog bowl. Paano niya matatransmit? Pero there is I think a single case in what I read before na pwede niyang i-transfer yun, pero very, very minimal. Kasi whenever a dog is infected, he will no longer eat. Okay? So during the onset, once he does not expose his saliva, the saliva of an infected rabid dog, hindi niya ma-expose yun sa food bowl or sa open wound ng humans and other dogs, hindi niya yun matatransmit. Pero pag na-expose niya yun sa food bowl and immediately malick din ng other dog yun, that is also a good transmission, but very, very rare. Okay? Thank you for that question. That's a nice question, Mr. Mendoza.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. Next question natin, Doc, from Miss Maricel Cuesta. So, is it dangerous na mag-double ang anti-rabies? Or baka tinatanong niya, Doc, if ever naulit yung anti-rabies sa isang aso. Is it dangerous daw po ba?
No, it's not really dangerous. Actually, hindi naman po toxic yung mga yan. Hindi naman yan mga gamot na na ano, and I believe the manufacturers have already studied this vaccine. Minsan kasi nagkakamali yung vet, nadodoble yung bakuna. And we also do it we call it hyperimmunization, like I discussed earlier. In remote areas where there is high incidence of rabies, we revaccinate every 6 months kasi nga mataas masyado yung rabies incidence in a certain community and area, in a remote area in the Philippines. Merong province na ganun po, I just can't remember which province is that. Ganun po ginagawa nila every 6 months, nagbabakuna sila ng rabies. And it's not a problem, okay? I have never read any problem or side effects na nadoble po yung bakuna and nagka-side effect. Okay? Just your vet knows na hindi po ito dinodoble. Wala rin pong booster shot na kailangan. So isang shot lang to and you will never miss it. Most of the time they won't make a mistake from this. But in case they do, it's okay. I've seen it before and wala naman po problema. Okay lang. Kasi minsan, kadalasan po, pagka nauulit namin pagka for example nawala po yung vaccination card, it's okay to repeat it kasi for us to be sure na protected yung aso nyo. Kasi minsan hindi natin maalala kung kailan yung last vaccine shot niya kasi nawala yung card and hindi mo na maalala. Okay lang. What I suggest, bakunahan na natin para sigurado tayo kasi baka mamaya mataas yung incidence ng rabies sa barangay nyo, there's no problem. So, okay lang ulitin. Thank you for that. And nice question, Mr. Alex.
Thank you, Sir Alex.
I
So, another
miss
question,
Quest pala.
Apo.
Mhm.
Next question natin is from Miss Katrina Mercado. So, why does a rabid dog die after biting someone?
Okay. Through the course of the disease, like I discussed earlier, yung course ng disease, whenever they penetrate the muscles, kunyari, when they bite, they already have rabies in their body. Okay? Kaya sila nangangagat because of the aggressive behavior. They transmit the virus. But once that happens, when they bite, they already have the rabies virus, the Lysa virus, is already in their brain. Okay? So, what causes aggressiveness, confusion, depression, excitedness, hydrophobia, coma, is because nagkakaroon po ng encephalitis. Namamaga po yung brain niya. Kaya siya nagwawala. Okay? Yung furious stage. Hindi, disoriented na siya. So, very excited to the touch. Kaya pag nagta-touch siya, whenever yung fear niya, fear of water din, when they become very sensitive, they bite. Okay? Kaya yon pag pumasok na sa brain nila, nagkakaroon po ng encephalitis. And yung final stage, once it reaches the brain, they become paralyzed. Okay? Pag na-paralyze po sila, comatose na, in 2 weeks time, mamamatay po yung aso. Automatic po yun. So that's why they die, because of encephalitis. The brain gets damaged and yung functions of the body is nag-short circuit and they die instantly. Ganun po yung course ng disease. Kaya po sila namamatay. Thank you for that question. Ang galing nun. Very, very helpful yung question mo, Ms. Mercado. Thank you.
Medyo mythbuster din ng part na yun, Doc. Kasi, di ba, iniisip nila na pagka nakakagat, instantly namamatay. But it's
Hindi.
not. Yung time na nakakagat yung aso, it's on the later part na ng disease.
Yes.
So, severe na yon. Kaya pag nakakagat siya, konting panahon na lang is mamamatay na rin naman siya. That's why siguro natin yun. Diba, Doc?
Yeah.
So, yun, Doc. Last 2 questions. So, next question natin. So, bakit po dapat hindi maliligo ang aso for 5 days after niya mabakunahan? Medyo common question, Doc, no, sa clinic.
Yeah. Okay. Linaw, I want to make this clear for everyone. Alam mo, I came from the States. I worked there for a while. I worked in a lot of hospitals, animal hospitals din in the US. Pag nagbabakuna po kami ng rabies doon, regardless of any vaccine, hindi namin sinasabi sa mga tao na huwag paliguan. Magtataka kayo, di ba? For the information of everyone. We don't say, don't you give your dog a bath. Kasi po, bakit? Malamig po doon. Malamig. And pag binakunahan mo yung aso mo doon, hindi sila nagkaka-fever. Okay? Normal reaction po ng bakuna ang pagkakaroon ng fever. Bakit po? Nagpo-produce siya ng antibodies, nagkakaroon ng inflammation sa loob ng katawan which causes fever. May chemical reaction yung vaccine sa katawan po ng tao. Normal na reaction yun. Kaya siya nagkaka-fever. Okay? Na-escalate po yung fever dito sa Pilipinas kasi mainit. Di ba? Pag binakunahan niyo po yung aso niyo dito, automatic, dahil nga rin mainit, yung temperature rise, nagkakaroon ng chemical reaction yung katawan niya, nagpo-produce ng inflammation, nagkaka-fever po. Ngayon, pag binakunahan, pag pinaliguan niyo po yung aso niyo, nang may fever siya, kasi nga nagkaka-fever siya, nagtutuloy-tuloy po yung lagnat, di ba? Nagtutuloy-tuloy yung lagnat. Lalo kung lalagnatin pag pinaliguan nyo because mainit na nga siya, tapos papaliguan mo siya, sudden change of temperature from high temperature, papaliguan mo ng malamig na tubig, lalo pong nagkakasakit yung aso na aggravate yung sakit. Okay? Kaya po ina-advise here, actually 5 days is so much already. Ewan po, naging practice na po dito sa Pilipinas yan, nagtataka ako eh. Ako po, pag ina-advise ko, kasi nga nasanay rin po ako sa States, hindi naman kami nag-a-advise na huwag paliguan yung aso. So, ang ginagawa ko po, 3 days lang, pwede na eh. Pag active po yung aso nyo, minsan kasi lalagnatin, minsan hindi. Okay? So, ina-advise na lang po dito na huwag paliguan. Kasi po, baka lagnatin. Di ba po ang mga baby sa tao, pag binabakunahan yung mga babies, nilalagnat din siya, di ba? Sila. Yun, ganun din po yung reaksyon ng ating mga tuta. Para silang babies eh. Nilalagnat sila. Kaya wag i-advise na wag pong paliguan. Okay? Pero in other countries, we don't do that. Kasi malamig eh. Walang problema, hindi man sila lalagnatin. So, okay lang, right? So, just a precautionary measure for all of us, ina-advise sa mga vets, opo, makatapos nitong bakuna, huwag mo nang paliguan, just to be safe. Yun lang po.
Yes, thank you, Doc. So now we are down to our last question for this segment, Doc. Ito. Doc, may allergy yung aso ko every time na nababakunahan siya. Kaya hindi ko na siya pinabakunahan ever since. What can you recommend?
Okay, napakaganda ng question mo, Mr. Sino ba nagtanong nito? Thank you for that question. Very seldom do I get a question like this. Okay. Each vaccine, regardless kung rabies siya or 8-in-1 siya, kennel cough siya, yung manufacturer po ng bakuna, iba-iba po yung chemical na nilalagay nila sa kanilang bakuna. Kasi marami pong brands yan eh. Merong Pfizer, merong Boehringer, merong iba-iba po. Okay. Each manufacturer has a different chemical adjuvant, ang tawag nila. Chemical, yung po, yung carrier ng bakuna, chemical po yun na hinahalo dun sa live virus, modified live vaccine po yata to o freeze-dried. Meron po silang chemical na hinahalo doon para mas madali po nilang maiturok yun sa balat ng aso. Okay? Inikwento ko na po sa inyo ngayon. Hindi po to rocket science para maintindihan ninyo. May mga aso po na hypersensitive. Allergic sila dun sa chemical adjuvant, ang tawag nila, chemical, na carrier nung live virus para po makapasok sa katawan. So, ang nangyayari, nagkaka-allergy sila, di ba? So, ang nangyayari po, namamaga yung katawan, nagkakaroon sila ng butlig-butlig, hindi sila makahinga. Yun, ganun po yung nangyayari. Kasi reaction po yun ng balat niya dun sa chemical inside the vaccine. Now, your vet, you have to tell your vet na ito po yung nangyayari. Okay? Ang suggestion ko po palitan niya yung bakuna na tinuturok sa'yo. Example, pag tinurukan ka po ng bakuna galing sa Pfizer, I'm not saying may mali yung Pfizer vaccine, rabies vaccine, okay? Palitan niya ng brand. Baka po kasi yung isa pang brand, example, yung MSD, yung Boehringer brand, iba rin po yung chemical adjuvant niya dun sa bakuna. So hindi naman sa lahat ng bakuna allergic yung aso mo eh. Allergic siya dun sa chemical, dun sa laging binabakuna. Kaya 'di ba, lagi nagkakaroon ng allergy yung aso mo. Reaction siya, nagre-react siya. So, i-suggest mo na sa susunod na taon, hindi na po ganyan yung brand ng vaccine na sana gamitin natin. I-suggest mo sa vet, pwede pong ibang brand, subukan naman natin para hindi po magka-allergy yung aso ko. Yun. Kasi we've seen it in a lot of cases. I've seen it in the US and here na babalik po yung kliyente, nagkaka-allergy, minsan nagkakabukol, nagbubutlig-butlig kasi nagre-react po hypersensitive yung skin ng aso nyo kasi lahat ng iba-iba po yung mga aso, parang tao din eh. Allergic kayo sa ganito, di ba? Minsan tao, allergic sa shrimp, allergic sa ganon. May ganon din po ang aso, nagkaka-allergy sila. So, you have to let them know na ito, sinuggest ni Doc Jomar, hindi lang po ako, sinuggest ng maraming tao na baka mas mainam na magpalit tayo ng brand ng rabies vaccine or any other vaccine para po malagpasan natin yung allergic reaction niya dito sa laging binabakuna. Yun, ganun po yun. Pinaiinom po din ng gamot. Kunyari, nagka-allergy yung aso nyo, merong allergy meds. Pinaiinom ng steroids para hindi naman lumala kasi minsan namamaga yung bumubukol, lumalaki. So, you have to consult your vet regarding this. Kasi, hindi yun kasalanan ng vet, guys, ha? Hindi yun kasalanan ng vet. Hindi rin kasalanan ng manufacturer yun. Kasi lahat naman ng bakuna niya, yun yung nilalagay niyang chemical. Yung aso mo lang ang sensitive. Okay? So, wag mo sisisihin yung mga tao. Yung aso mo talaga sensitive. Kailangan lang mag-adjust. I hope I answered that question. Ang ganda ng tanong mo. That was a very exciting question. Thank you for that. Thank you, Doc.
Yes. And of course, very important yung question na yun kasi doon ulit magli-lead yun sa only licensed veterinarians can administer vaccination sa iyong mga aso.
Yes.
Bakit? Kasi when it comes to magkaroon ng hypersensitivity or allergies, only the vets know how to address that issue to your dogs. All right?
Yes.
So, okay, Doc, thank you for answering all of our consults today. So, if you guys still have questions and queries that you need to ask for advice, the comment section will remain open to accommodate all of your concerns. And yes, feedback is a gift because it is an opportunity to make all things better the next time around. So we would like to know your thoughts about Maxime Talks. Please answer the feedback form posted on a comment section and get a chance to win 1.5 kilogram maximally and 500 peso discount voucher to your vet clinic or pet shop of choice. I guess that's it for today. And thank you, dearest pet parents, for being with us again today. We really hope we were able to impart relevant information about rabies. So we just want to remind everyone that anti-rabies vaccination is mandated by law, and we should all comply to this. So schedule your dogs for their anti-rabies shots to your veterinarians now, and be a responsible pet owner. Be a responsible Pinoy, right? So let us all keep ourselves and our pets safe from rabies. And of course, thank you, Dr. Romer, again, no, for helping our dear viewers to learn more about rabies. So any parting messages, Doc, to our viewers?
Yes, I want to remind everybody to let's follow the advice of Doc Raniel. Get your dogs vaccinated, especially with rabies, so that we can avoid this problem with our dogs and we can avoid this problem for us humans because it is zoonotic. So remember that. So I want to thank everybody for watching us today. I hope you learned something and I'm expecting you to be on our next episodes in the following weeks and I'm glad to be of help to you for helping you understand certain things that are very, very confusing with regards to our pets. I want to thank Doc Raniel. I want to thank Maxime Talks, Pilmico, for inviting me here to share knowledge with you guys. Thank you very much.
Yes. Of course, Doc, thank you ulit. And once again, thank you for tuning in and please watch out for the next episodes of Maxim Talks. So this has been your host, Dr. Reniel Montero, reminding all pet parents out there to always do good for your doggos. All right? So bye-bye.
Bye.